Hello, everyone. This is Coach Tim Campsall, and I'm excited to have a fellow business owner with us today. Something unique about my guest is he auditioned for American Idol in the mid 2000s. He didn't make it, however, he was on their website. So we're going to ask him a little bit more about that here in a minute. In his downtime, he enjoys spending time with his family and anything musical, and you can see in the background. Maybe we'll even get him to play something for us. And he's most proud of being an introvert while still able to push himself out of his comfort zone, get out there and meet people and make a difference. It's my pleasure to welcome Joel to the show today. Hey, Joel.
Hey Tim, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, hey, let's start with having you introduce yourself. So tell us your full name and a bit of your personal story, like where you were born, where you live, family, and hobbies.
Sure. Joel Dunham. I was born just across the border in Ohio. Live in Fort Wayne, Indiana right now, and that's where the business is. But yeah, my story, I guess I went to school for business at the Ohio State University and was hoping to get into more of a marketing field and did a couple internships in that. Realized I absolutely hate it. And so I'm 3 years into college trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And my aunt, who owned Ovation Insurance where I work, she was looking to plan for the future as well. And so she said, well, why don't you try this out, see what
Mm,
you think? If
yeah,
it's a fit, great. If it's not, no big deal.
yeah.
And so I came to work with my aunt and fell in love with working in the agency. I got to do more along the marketing lines than I would have otherwise, had a little more freedom there. And it's just been a wonderful fit. So I'm very grateful that she gave me that opportunity. But that's how I got to where we are. I ended up buying the business from her. Personal life, I got married in 2018 to my wife. We actually met doing some musical work together. We were in the pit, and so we met then. We have a 3-year-old and now a 4-month-old. So
Wonderful.
lots
What,
of excitement
what
going
does
on.
it mean to be in the pit?
So for that particular show, we were both singers, and so
Okay.
we were just sort of background singers.
Yeah,
But
yeah, wonderful.
yeah, for 10
So,
years, we directed my old high school shows.
oh,
And so
wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, sort of as a result of all that, we did that together. I don't know how, but I ended up doing okay with that. And then she kind of was good at everything that I wasn't. And so, it came to dancing and that sort of thing, that was her area. And
Okay.
when it came to the logistics and that sort of stuff, that was my field. So yeah,
Wonderful.
ended up
And so
working pretty good.
tell us about the American Idol edition.
Well, there's not much to say on that, but yeah, we a friend of mine from high school and college, we on a whim decided, well, they're auditioning in Cleveland. Why don't we go check it out? So
Ah, that's awesome.
yeah, we drove down and I had to stay overnight because that was at kind of its peak when it was the biggest, and
Uh-huh.
so we had to stay overnight at the football field and got our chance to go down at the down onto the field and audition in front of some of the I believe the show producers. We didn't
Okay.
see the main three, Simon
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Randy
yeah,
and
yeah,
Paula,
yeah.
but yeah, we went down there. There were some fantastic singers a part of that, but you could tell pretty quickly they were looking for more stories than they were
Sure.
talent.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Yeah, makes sense. Well, thanks for giving me the background. Is there a funny story, Joel, that your family likes to tell about you that you'd be willing to share with us today?
oh well, I guess if we're gonna stay with the music vein here, I'll just tell a story there. In high school, I was part of the Music Man cast. I was in the quartet,
Uh-huh.
and we were singing the song. It's called "Light a Rose," if you're familiar with the show. And so we're singing a duet as the quartet with the main lead. And we ended up getting way off on our timing, and so she was singing along with the music as she should, and we had completely derailed the
Oh
train.
no.
So mid show, I went like that and stopped the guys and waited, and then we picked it back up and took off. And so that was kind of the moment right then and there that it became pretty clear there'd be some future for directing for me. So
That's awesome that you were able to figure it out real time and course correct.
of course we were laughing for the rest of the song then, but we at least straightened out the
Yeah,
song.
that's awesome. Well, hey, tell us how did the business come about? I know that you gave a little bit of the backstory, but more importantly, like at what point did you have the confidence that you could run your own business?
Yeah, so my aunt brought me in 2009 as an agent, and she just did things the right way. Just brought me in slowly, and over time gave me more responsibilities. And by the time it was my time to buy it, I pretty well had a good grasp on a lot of what needed to be done here. I knew what changes I wanted to make,
Mhm.
and thankfully she had not locked me into any long-term contracts with any vendors and made any decisions that I would have to pay for later. So you don't think about those things when you're going into it,
Sure.
especially at the
Right.
age I was at the time.
Yeah,
But looking back on it, I'm really appreciative of how she handled that and what she set up here.
that's great. So tell us a little bit more about the company. Say the name again. What do you guys do? How do you help people?
Yeah, so we're Ovation Insurance. We're located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we serve Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, and Colorado. We actually have somebody who lives out there. So we do home auto, business, and life. Don't really do too much with health. That's sort of its own thing. But yeah, I'd say we're mostly focused on business right now.
Okay.
But we're doing pretty well with home and auto and life right now uh, as well. So yeah,
And
that's what we do.
what would you say in terms of maybe what's different or unique about you guys in terms of how do you take care of people? How do you help people?
Yeah, so we do annual reviews with everybody. Part of that is following up with the team.
Hmm.
Part of it is automated to get the ball rolling, of course. But once that initial message goes out, everything we do has a human involved. So message one that goes out, that's the computer. Past that, any follow-ups, any communications, any text, that's all us.
Okay.
And so we've had a fantastic retention rate with our clients, um, going through all that. But that I owe a lot to my team
Yeah.
for setting that up and taking ownership of that task
Sure.
to make sure that the renewals are done right and that we're not missing anything.
Yeah.
So
That's
one of
great.
the biggest issues that we have is that when we go in to do a renewal, everybody asks, well, what discounts can I get? Well, we go in and we can't find any, which,
Yeah.
that's a good problem to have. That means you've been getting your discount.
Yes, right.
It means you haven't been wasting money on discounts that you could have gotten, but didn't. So
Yes,
it's a good
yes,
problem.
yes. And in fact, right, just because of inflation, right, most people they don't want to hear this, but they should expect that their rates would go up a little bit every year because, right, the cost to replace your house is more expensive and right, and just cost of everything is more expensive. So,
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years in the insurance industry. I think everybody's noticed the rates have gone up quite a bit.
yeah.
Ours have too.
Thanks for
That's
listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show. Please help spread this movement by liking and subscribing to.
yeah, and
Oh,
that's the
hold on.
thing. Yeah, as far as the rates increasing, we're all seeing that. We're all going through it. And that's the one thing that I don't know if everybody thinks about, but we our policies are going up too, and our coverage is changing too as agents. And so we're dealing with the same things you are. We don't make the rates and we don't get to choose what the carrier does
Yeah.
with that information. So we're dealing with it too. My own homeowner's policy is up 300% in the last 4 years. That's
Wow.
crazy. But that's the market that we're in. We're starting to see it turn around, but we're having to explain this to our
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
And so I don't blame people for being frustrated. I mean, we've been saying for about 4 years now, well, it looks like it's going to start turning, it's going to start getting better. And okay, maybe it is, but then what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
well, it is, the price is better, but the coverage is different. And
Yeah.
so it's just it's a difficult thing to navigate right now, but that's what we're here for. We're here to navigate that and make sure that we've got you with the right company that's gonna
Yeah. Well,
um,
I like that you do the annual review, so it's not just a surprise mailer, right, or a surprise change to the monthly withdrawal. You're actually reaching out to people and taking them through, right? So, yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. So, Joel, we know that successful businesses can get stuck at various stages of their growth journey. So tell us about one of your biggest challenges since becoming an owner and maybe somebody that helped you through that.
Yeah, I think the biggest hiccup that we've had, if you even want to call it that, has just been the economy changing on us.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, my niche in commercial insurance for years was hospitality, hotels. Well, all of my markets have essentially exited that field. They
Mm.
don't want to write hotels. Some of them are starting to get back in, but what do you tell your clients when that happens?
Right.
So that's been an interesting thing for us to work through. And then in addition to what we just talked about with the rate changes and the coverage changes, but um, I've had a lot of help um, in getting set up here. And so, for instance, when we went through the whole COVID thing where everybody had to work remote, for us, we'd already been through
Mm.
setting it up online, and it was just a flip of a switch. Everybody take your computer and go home, and we're
Yeah.
fine. We
Yeah.
didn't miss a beat, which was
Yeah.
great. But yeah, as far as people who have helped, I'm on the PIA, Professional Insurance Agents of Indiana board, and I have a lot of friends and fellow agents, including as well as the staff there, who have been really instrumental in pushing me forward, and I would say in particular getting me out of my shell.
Yeah.
But my aunt, of course, has been very helpful. I still talk to her about certain scenarios we have
Sure.
here. And then my wife has a very different perspective than I do, not being in the field.
Yeah.
She's a good outside source, and
Yeah.
she will tell me how it is. That's for sure.
Well, going along that same vein, I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot here and ask you to pick three people in your business owner journey that you're most grateful for them being there to help with you with your business's growth. So, who are those three people and how'd they help you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess number one, I'd still have to say my wife, since she's able to simplify things that I'm looking at uh, pretty accurately. One of my weaknesses is I don't know I don't know if I'd call it a weakness, but I'm optimistic with people. I like to believe they're going to do what they say
Ah,
they're going to
yes.
do, and she's a little more pragmatic with that, and is
Uh-huh.
able to help me review resumes and maybe say, yeah, you might want to rethink this.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I'd probably go with my aunt after that,
Mhm.
and then probably the PIA board, probably the same people I just mentioned. I guess they've those three resources have more or less got me here.
Yeah. It's great to have the support at home and also the a different perspective and a different opinion and be able to to talk things through with your wife and right and have know that she's got your back, but she also may have a different opinion and right help you to navigate through things and see it from a different perspective.
Definitely.
Yeah, I have. I find that a lot of folks that I've interviewed have said the same, similar type of thing of, having that rock at home, right? That foundation, that person who's unconditional love and support, but also, willing to call us out on stuff is helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Joel, the path to building a successful business has a lot to do with both our mindset as well as, the things that we learn along the way. So, what's been your biggest learning as a business owner?
Biggest learning, I'd probably say it's a simple one: trust but verify.
Mm.
That's pretty much it. I mean, that's essentially how I base the whole business, is trust but verify with our clients, with my staff.
Yeah.
Part of our follow-up process when people make changes is we have certain email templates that we prepare ourselves to send to them to make sure that the proper proof of coverage is going out and that confirmation is going out. And we actually base our compensation on that too. If I can go in and verify that what is supposed to be done is being done,
Mm.
then that's one tier. If it's not, then that's another. But
Yeah.
it's so nice to be able to have a staff that I can just trust to do these things, that
Yeah.
when I go in to verify, well, we're hitting 100%. Great, move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's how you catch problems.
Give a little bit more context if you can on what does that look like, the trust and verify with a potential client?
Um, yeah, I guess the big thing right now is photos of
Mhm.
the houses.
Okay, yeah,
That's something we are asking for before we quote right now. So if we're talking homeowners insurance,
yeah.
that's just such a hot topic right now is homes and roofs and what that
Mhm.
looks like. And the last thing we want is for there to be, an issue after we write a policy. 2 weeks later, the company sends out a rep to do an outside inspection and then it gets canceled.
Yeah,
Well, okay, that doesn't help anybody.
sure.
So, yeah, okay, your roof was put on in 2022. Excellent. Send us the pictures.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and get those in the file and then we'll move on with the quote.
yep. Yeah, perfect. Love it. Thanks for sharing that. So what piece of advice would or guidance, Joel, would you have for a business owner who's feeling frustrated or stuck or discouraged in their business?
This is one I've been coming back to a lot lately, but using a Star Wars reference, I got this from a Donald Miller book. But remember, you're Obi-Wan, you're Yoda, you're not Luke,
Mm.
right? So it's not about you. It's never been about you. It feels like it's about you, but it's not. So there, your customer's the main character, and it's your job to get them what they need and what they want. So
Mm.
don't take it personally when you're treating yourself as the main character.
Yeah. Yes, yes, and I know personally that that reminder has to happen. I have to remind myself of that a lot, sometimes more often than other times. But yeah, it's a great piece of advice. Thanks for sharing. So, Joel, as you think about the next year, where's an area that you're either currently feeling stuck or you know that there's a challenge that you've got to sort out in order to achieve your long-term goals?
Yeah, we're actually in the middle of sorting this out right now. In fact, next week, some of the changes we're making are going to be taking effect. But um, yeah, we did an acquisition at the end of last year, and on the whole, it's been good. But the amount of service work that we have had this year seems higher than it should be
Hmm.
for both the clients that were here previously and the new clients coming in. I don't really have an answer for that,
Yeah.
but it's draining the agency of all
Sure.
the energy they need to go out and produce and
Yeah.
sell and
Yeah.
grow.
Right.
So we are in the middle of addressing that service challenge
Hmm.
and making sure that we can continue to serve our clients without losing a step. In fact, hopefully we're gaining a step and we're
Yes.
answering the phone faster and we're,
Yes.
getting back with if we're all on the phone, we can get back to them quicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking to address that first and then hopefully growth will follow when we have more time to sell.
Isn't it, it's I mean it's just the natural course of business, but it can be frustrating when, you know, everything's going well and then all of a sudden something pops up like that. Right. It's like, but where did that come from and why is it happening? And right, it's not like you said, it's not like a switch was flipped and we can just unflip the switch. Right? It takes slowing down and evaluating and digging in and figuring out, well, what is the root cause and if there is a root cause, how might we fix it and how long will it take to fix it and with the ultimate goal, as you said, right, of like we got to get this resolved because it's taken away from the revenue producing activities and yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's just there's one thing and you think you got it fixed, and then another thing comes up, and
Yep.
then the company changes the rules on you, and you got to start back over
Yep.
again. It's like, okay, well, the rules are different now, so
Yep.
let's fix it.
Yeah. I've heard it said multiple times that being a business owner is not for the faint of heart because it's a constant evolution and you know, pivoting and tweaking and adjusting and adapting because that's just life, right? Like it's not the same every day or every week or every year, and we've got to continue to adjust.
But we've asked for that, right?
We
As a
right,
business owner, we've
exactly.
asked for
Yep.
that. We'd be miserable doing. I'm unemployable. I've got to do this. I
Yes.
couldn't work for anybody else.
I've told my wife the same thing. It is, yeah, No, I kind of screwed myself because there's no way I can go back, right? Once I've seen the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
So, last question, Joel. Jim Rohn said one of his famous quotes was, "We become the average of the five people that we spend the most time with." So, as you think about that quote, what advice would you have for business owners who are feeling overwhelmed and trying to figure it all out on their own?
Well, it kind of goes along with that, but know your limits,
Mm,
know your strengths, know your weaknesses, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Plan for the limits, play to the strengths that you have, and outsource your weaknesses.
yeah.
It's easy for us to want to take it all on, but that's never going to work. I'm not a natural salesperson. That's
Mm,
something that I have to give to my team.
yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm good. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not.
Mm. Yeah. So what I love that of know your strengths and um you talked about outsourcing. So just give me a little bit more insight on what that means in terms of your thoughts.
That could pretty much mean anything at this point. I'd consider part of that is just bringing in our current staff
Mm.
to do what I can't do and what I'm not great at. I think they'd all agree I'm not the best note taker, so I probably ought to not be doing that. But we also, we've used resources like Fiverr for sort of one-off
Sure,
projects,
sure.
but we're also using a virtual assistant
Hmm.
company. We've got two people that are working with us through that.
Yeah.
Uh, I wouldn't have made it through the winter without them.
Mm.
I wouldn't have made it. So, that's what it looks like for us. It's the staff, it's the one-off projects, and then it's our VAs.
Yeah. Yeah, VAs, I just wanted to elaborate on that because it's a great resource. I recently read this book called Buy Back Your Time, and it talks about, evaluating your tasks and activities that are you either don't like doing or are significantly below your pay grade, right? Should be delegated, and they recommend a VA because it's, super cost effective in terms of if it's especially for somebody who's a one person business, right? Their first hire, they recommend, well, get the VA because if you can get all the paperwork processes and follow up processes and non-revenue generating activities off your plate, right, frees you up to be able to build the business and get more revenue, and then right, be able to expand from there. So you
Well,
said
they've
you have
been,
two. Is that right?
yeah, yeah, we've got two VAs currently. I think eventually we'll probably get another one. But what's interesting is, we've got another aspect to this now with AI coming into the
Mm,
picture. And so, they were fantastic before this, but I decided a few months ago to buy uh, the Teams package of ChatGPT.
okay, yeah.
Um, we'll probably keep it, but I'm more partial to Claude right now. But yeah, that has essentially supercharged them. When
Mm,
they're communicating by email and by text, when they can run it through that to, you
yes.
know, clean up the wording and make it say what they want it to say.
Yes.
That's been fantastic, and so we can't go back from that now.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that a VA and an AI tool can do for us that, again, right, it's not necessarily revenue generating, but it's key critical parts of the business that got to get done, like content creation and right and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
I have a VA as well, and she books my appointments for me. So right, I'll talk to somebody, right, and they agree to have a chat with me, and then I introduce her into the conversation, and she does the follow up to get the meeting on calendars because sometimes that can be right a few back and forths before the calendar aligns. So
yeah,
having her do that makes sure that it actually gets done because I found that I would follow up a couple times and then I'd move on and right and that meeting would never get booked.
yep, exactly. Same here.
So Joel, it sounds like you've had some pretty cool people in your life and helped you with your business journey. So if they were all here with us today, what would you want to say to them?
Probably just a simple thanks. You know, they've uh they've done a lot for me, and it's been I would like to think it's been hopefully good the other way too. So, that's probably it.
Awesome. Awesome. Now I said at the beginning, and I was half joking, but you've got that keyboard over there. Are you going to sing us a song before we wrap up today?
No, not today. I think we'll pass on that for now.
All right, Joel, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show. Please help spread this movement by liking and subscribing to our show and following us on Facebook and LinkedIn. To join our movement, go to bemadtogether.com. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. Please pay it forward and be sure to tune in next time to the Self-Made is a Myth podcast.